Hello you guys, it's me, Maddie Makes. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another video for you today. I'm working in one of my favorite places, that's Canva. And remember, I always tell you that there is a free version that has lots of good stuff, and then there is a pro version of Canva. But I used to just have the free version, and I found it to be just as amazing. The pro version just gives you a little bit more, few more options, so it's well worth it in case you want to purchase it. What we're going to do today, my inspiration is a post-wedding invitation. That's what we're going to do today, and yeah, we're going to start now. So we're here in Canva. When you open it up, this is where you land, and we have a custom size that we're going to make. And that custom size for me, I need to change it to, I live in inches world, not pixels world. And then I'm going to do a 4x6. And then I'm going to create a design. And here we go. Looks like it's just taking a minute to load all of our options in here. All right, so we're good. Let's go to text, add a heading. I'm going to type a W. And that W, if I click off, I don't want this font. Now, I didn't get fancy, just real quick. I looked in Canva, when you go to the text, click on text, you land here. They give you fonts that you can use, or you can go up here and get fonts. But here are the font pairings, meaning you're getting two different type of fonts that they think go well together, all right? So this is the pairing that I chose for this particular post-wedding invitation. If I were to click on it, you would see, let me just click off. The top font would be Selima. You find that up here. And the bottom font is League of Spartan, okay? So Canva is saying, hey, you know, these are kind of cool together. All right. And we're going to delete that. So back to my letter W. I'm going to open it up a little bit, and we're starting off with Selima. Go over here, click here, hit Selima. I need this font to be bigger, so I come up here and highlight. I want it to be about, let's say 48.5. And there we have it. We're going to move this over here. Let me make this a little bit better. Too big for me. I don't know if I want it to be there, I guess. Maybe. Actually, it turns out to be 88.4. Okay, well, we'll go with that. And then we're going to duplicate that. Oops, sorry, we have to click off of it first. Click back on it and duplicate. Only difference is we're changing this to a lowercase e. Now that's entirely too big, okay? So I'm going to go back to what I originally said. Let's go back up here. And we're going to change it to 48.7. Is it because I did make this capitalized? Let me just see. It looks funny to me, you guys. Okay, well, we're going to leave it be. And then, let's move up a little bit so you can see. Same thing with this E. It should be a lowercase e, though. Oh, I see what's wrong, you guys. Get this. My caps are on. No wonder. There we go. That looks better. Now, 48.7. See, I make mistakes, you guys. I make mistakes. Duplicate it. And then I'm going to make a lowercase e. And I want to put those puppies together and line them up. See how I have the crisscross there, up vertical and horizontal? All right, it's telling me they're in alignment. Now, oops, I'm going to come up here. It's going to give me the option to group them. I want to group them because I want them to move together. See? Now I don't have to try to move them separately. And then I also want it to be on a 30-degree angle. Notice how it's giving me numbers? I got to steady my hand. There we go. We got our 30-degree angle. I click off it and move it up here. Now I'm going to add another heading. And I'm going to type lowercase. Or do I want lowercase? No, I want capital. T-I-E-D. We tied. And same thing, highlight it. Pay no attention to my Grammarly. And change the size to 48.7. So we have it in Selima. Notice it's all connected, which is what I wanted, except for the T. That's fine. And then we have to move it up here next to the we tied. And again, we want that 30-degree angle. But we also want it to be in alignment with the word we. And there it is. Okay? Perfect. And now we can duplicate this. And we're going to change this. And it's going to be a lowercase t. Click off, click back on. And we're going to move it on up. And we're good. Maybe a little bit. There we go. I'm good with that. And then we're going to duplicate again. And we're going to do not. We tied the knot. And we're going to give it an exclamation point. And it wants to be a little bit more open. Do the same thing. And we're in alignment. Okay? We tied the knot. Perfect. All right. So looking good so far, so good, y'all. Okay? I might even feel like maybe we should raise it up a little bit. There we go. Which is cool, fine, and dandy. Okay, so we tied the knot, all right? Now what I want to do is I want to add some rings here. What you can do is you can go to elements, and I think I told you in a previous video, Canva is topic friendly. So if you just type in wedding rings, it'll give you a bunch of wedding rings. All right, it'll give them to you. So, and then if you want to go right here and say click all, right? And then remember I talked about the pro version. These little crowns, that means you can only get them if you have the pro version. But they have other ones that are not pro. So like down here, this is not a pro version. Notice it doesn't have a pro symbol. So you could use this one, or you could scroll down. I like this one, but that's a pro version too. But you could go scrolling down and just look at the different ones that they have available that are free. It doesn't have to be paid for. For me, I'm going to use this one here today. And it's going to land right here. That might be a little big. So if you bring your mouse cursor here, you can move it. You can kind of see the size. I want it a little bit smaller. I'm going to leave it there at 1.5 width and 1.2 height. And I might move it up a little bit. And it's centered. Okay? So far, so good, you guys. So far, so good. Now we have to put the date that they got tied, because remember this is a post-wedding invitation. And so for that we are going to go back to text, add a heading, and in caps we're going to put a date. It's whatever day you want to put, but this is a sample date just for illustration purposes. And I'm going to put just backspace, YY, because, you know, who knows what the year might be. This font is also too big, and it's the wrong font. So we're going to make this font smaller, much smaller. Let's go to 12. And then, you guys, we're going to click on our drop-down box, this little chevron here, and we're going to look for, let's look for, the other font was League of Spartan, that's what it is, this one. So there we go. We have our date, all right, 12, we'll move it up. If this is too dark for you, like say you want this to be a little bit lighter, you could just reduce the transparency, right? So like I'll click on it because it looks a little bold. So if you wanted it to be a little bit lighter, just go click on this little shaded transparency. It comes up, transparency, and watch. It'll tone it down a little bit, right? You can tone it down as much as you want. I could do it again. I'm going to show you just for laughs and giggles. You can get it gray almost. All right, that's a little bit too gray for me. So I'm going to go back, and I thought about 80 was about good because it's a little bit loud. I don't need it to be that loud. We'll stay at 65. I kind of like that. I might not, might change it, but you get the idea. I'm just showing you a technique, okay? So we got the date, and then what we want to do is go back and click our add a heading again, and we want to put some folks on here. Y'all, I made these folks up. They are not real. But we needed some folks. So, who got married? Tracy and Gary got married. All right? And then that's too big, right? And that's not the right font. We're going to go back to Salima. That's the font that we want. Click on our little box and go back. Click Salima. It's too big. Let's change this to about 24. So there we have Tracy Smith and Gary Wright. Let's make sure it's centered. It is right there. See my line going through? I'm good. All right. So far, so good. And now we want to go back. I'm just going to go up here and I'm going to duplicate this date because I want the same font. It won't be the same font size maybe, but I want the same font and I don't want to keep having to go back and do it. And I'm going to in caps again. But we would request the joy of your presence for a, okay? And then we're going to highlight that and we're going to, this doesn't need to be a big font because it just doesn't need to be, okay? But I do want it on 2 lines, okay? So we request the joy of your presence for a, and now we center it. I want it a little bit higher, and there's my center. It's dead center. You can see my vertical and my horizontal lines. Okay, so far so good, y'all. We're going to go back up here, duplicate this one, because now we're going to go back down here, and we're going to type wedding celebration. I'm sorry, wedding celebration party, because it's not a celebration for the wedding, it's for the party. They already got married. And that looks good. I'm going to leave it at the same font size as what was up here. And I'm center. Okay? So far, so good. One minute. There we go. Okay. Nope, that's a little bit too far down for me. You have to place it where you want to place it. I want it to be 0.21. See that? It came up 0.021. And that's where I want it to be. So we have everything right where we want it to be. Okay. So now we have the wedding celebration party. We need to go back up here. And I'm going to move this up a little bit too. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate this. Move it down. And then we're going to do, because we want that same font, right? We want the same font. And we're going to say the date of the party. So the date of the party is going to be one that I made up, all caps. Uh-oh, took my caps off. And then the time, I want to, on the second line, 3:30 p.m. All right? Looking good, y'all. And now we're going to move that up a little bit, center it a little bit. See how it's coming together, you guys? Wedding invitations, my friends, are expensive. And people just throw them in the garbage when it's all said and done, right? And you spend hundreds of dollars on getting them. Why not do it yourself? DIY it. They have little kits at Walmart all day long where you can go to Walmart, you can go to Hobby Lobby, you can get the envelopes, the cardstock, everything that you need to print your own wedding invitation. You can even take this here to a print store, print it out, take it to a print store, and ask them to print it for you at a fraction of what a printer would charge you to create and do this for you, okay? And then the next thing we want to do is, I need this font again, so I'm going to take this one because it's the shortest, duplicate it, bring it down, and in this one, I got to tell where the party is, right? In all caps. All I did was notice that it's the Wright residence because Tracy married Gary Wright, and if she took his last name, then it would be the Wright residence. Things are different these days, but potentially could be. And I'm sure we need to have this maybe be, because this, oh, nope, is it a 12? It's a 12, so we're good, we're good. And then the next thing we need to do is add the address. So let's duplicate it again. And we're making up a fictitious address. Uh-oh, my caps. And there we have it. But it doesn't need to be this big in my opinion. You have to do yours how you, I'm giving you just the basic inspiration. Then you have to make it be what you want it to be, okay? But this is how I see it, envision it for me. A million ways to go with it. You don't even have, you could take this invitation, change up the fonts. You could add something else here instead of wedding rings. Anything you want to do, anything you can dream up. I just want you to know that you can do it. You can do it. And did I center this? Let's make sure it's centered. And it is. I just want you to know that you can do it. And there you have it. You have your wedding invitation. If you wanted to, you could go and highlight this. You could do this whole thing. And it'll ask you, do you want to group it together? You could do that. You could group it together so that it moves as one piece, right? But I don't really need it to do that, okay? I'm going to click off. But you could, so that you don't, so things don't move on your invitation. So this is what I have for you today. It's a DIY wedding invitation done in Canva. Ideally, if you didn't want to pay for anything except the printing, all you have to use is the free features in Canva and do something very similar, okay? So that's all I have for you today. I hope that you learned something. If you would please give it a thumbs up, that would be appreciated because you know I need those. If you like learning new things, please consider subscribing. And if you have any comments, please leave them below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Until next time, my friends, have a good week.